in Bruce Arians' words, had a very, very good season. He's a young man who they expect to lead them every time they go on the field, and today is no differently.
Well, the thing about Lee Saltz is last year he shared a lot of the quarterback responsibilities with James Thompson. This year, he's been given the job, and I think that has made him a better quarterback. He's out of New Jersey, Randolph, New Jersey, just a 40-minute drive from Rutgers. He's coming off his best game last week where he threw for 307 yards, including a 96-yard touchdown, which is a school mark. And Saltz, like I says, has the confidence, and he also is able to play fake, and I think that really freezes the secondary because they're looking for Paul Palmer, of course, all the time.
Yeah, you mentioned, you hit the key button right there. Paul Palmer, who has had, 8 straight 100-yard rushing games now.
Going for number 9 today. He's only a couple hundred yards away from the school rushing record. He is actually leading the nation in total yardage with 839. And the thing about him, that move right there, it's uncoachable. He comes up to the line and bingo, he cuts on a dime, cuts outside, and usually there's nobody there.
Well, Bruce Arians told me this week this is the best offensive line that he has ever been associated with, led by this All-American John Reenstra, and you're talking about a man who was an assistant coach at both Alabama and Mississippi State. Willie Marshall is the other receiver to Gloucester. They both have outstanding speed. Tell me more about Marshall.
Well, he's a big play receiver, too. Usually gets behind the secondary. A lot of times that's because of the play-action faking ability of quarterback Lee Saltz. And Saltz and Marshall this year have come into their own as a combination. This pass here against BYU, there's Willie behind his man, and bingo, the pass is right there, and he usually holds on.
And Rutgers isn't the only team that plays some good D. Temple will play some good defense. The inspiration comes from their middle linebacker, Bob Pilkauskis, who was the second leading tackler. As you see, the outside linebacker, John Smith, is the leading tackler at the moment.
And Bob also gets his hands on the interception once in a while. He has 2 to lead the team in that department. Shares that with Steve Dominowski, another linebacker we'll talk about later. Pilkauskis makes up for size, I think, and speed maybe with just a lot of determination. And he's always around the football, whether it's thrown or on the ground.
Okay, you were your own best lead. Let's talk about Dominowski. He's next.
Dominowski's getting his first shot as a starter this season. He's backed up a few years at Temple, but he's a real hard hitter. Once again, not great size or speed, but he makes up with a lot of determination, a lot of heart, and he may be the toughest hitter on the team, except for one other guy who we're going to talk about, Todd Bowles.
Yeah, Todd Bowles has missed 3 games this season. He, in fact, missed about 6 weeks of work because of an injury, but he is back, and he is really the best defensive player in the secondary as far as Temple is concerned. So as you can see, both sides have some quality football players. We've given you an idea of about 13 or 14 players that we expect to be key in the ballgame. They all won't play vital roles, but I think out of that group, you will find some stars today. We've set the scene with the players. Let's come back and talk about the coaches. More of our pregame activity from the Vet in Philly right after this. These juice products who remind you there's a daily treat for everyone. And by Meyer Siegel & Associates, fine family of foods, Lamagna cheese, the ricotta for all reasons, and Rocca's gourmet pasta. Homemade pasta has never been so easy. And by Long John Silver's Seafood Shops. For fish, chicken, and a whole lot more, Long John Silver sounds good to me. Are 2 of the brightest young coaching stars on the horizon would be an understatement. Arians now in his 3rd season started with a 4-7 record, then went to 6-5 last year. On the other hand, Dick Anderson in his 2nd full year at Rutgers, 7-3 in 1984, not having a good year as you know this year, but the season has a long way to go. And we asked Coach Anderson about how the club has gone so far this year. Midfield. I don't know if they'll be on target. Hopefully they will. And here they come. And they're just coming now within the center of the stadium and down to the... Yeah, not bad. Touchdown at the 22-yard line. And the other one now circling behind the goalpost to our left and will enter the same way. So homecoming is officially underway. The captain's meeting with the officials in the center of the field. And this... that was a little... I've been on a few flights that I felt like that.
They almost gave the low deck to the Brit to the officials there, Sam.
He did indeed.
Pretty good accuracy in that last drop.
You're looking at the officials in the center. Here come a few more parachuters heading down as the pregame activity goes on in the center. I'm
going to catch it. If I fail to catch it, we will toss it again. Are you ready? Heads was the call. It is a head. It is here to make it.
Rutgers has called heads, and they have called it correctly, so they want the football, and they will receive to start this football game. And Temple indicating which goal they want to defend. That means that Bill Wright will do the kicking off now for the Temple Owls to start the football game. And the captains again shaking hands and wishing good luck to each other. They have played 2 one-point football games now in the last 2 years. You can't ask to get any closer than that. Temperatures, we indicated the mid-50s. Slight wind out of the east, and it's a mostly sunny afternoon indeed. We may reach the 60s before the day is over, but nobody here is going to complain. It is an absolutely perfect day for college football.
You know, the winds may be out of the east, Sam, but this is an open stadium at the top, and the winds just swirl around, and you really can't go by what the guys at the airport are saying. And
so it'll be a good opportunity now for Temple with field position in plus territory at the 41-yard line of Rutgers.
Great to follow a guy like Carter where you're looking at the defense coming right down your throat and you still decide to take it at him and attack. You got to love it.
They have not really had an enviable third down situation in 3 possessions. 3rd and 5 is no bargain. And the give to Palmer. They're going to let him do it, and he does it. Inside the 30 to the 28-yard line, stopped there by the strong safety Lou Morrow, but a 7-yard pickup and Temple's first for Owls. That's Gloucester in motion. And here's a pitch to Palmer. Here's a reverse to Marshall. Looking in the end zone, throws a pass downfield, and it is caught out of the field of play. It is caught by Keith Gloucester, but to Rutgers' credit, they were not fooled at all. They had double coverage on Gloucester. Number 2, Darrell Brittingham, and number 21, Steve
Inside the end zone.
He doesn't mind if he's beaten out of the field of play, I can tell you that. 3rd and 9. Gagliardi, salts over the middle, and it's complete at the 13-yard line. Caught by Willie Marshall, number 84, and that will be a Temple behind. First down and 10 to go Temple at the Rutgers 12-yard line. This Scarlet Knight defensive unit, a very game group of young men. Here's Palmer, he's free, and he calls for the 1. Cheerleaders in anticipation of what they hope will be a touchdown here as we begin play in the second quarter. It is 3rd down and less than a yard. It is 3rd down and 2 for a touchdown for Temple. They trail Rutgers 3-0. The pitch is to Palmer. He gets a block from Poole, goes outside and untouched into the end zone. Touchdown Temple.
well, it was Shelley Poole, 44, the fullback, that led the blocking on that sweep to the open side of the field, the wide side, and Paul Palmer just coasting his way in for his 7th touchdown of the season.
Lou Morrow, Rutgers' strong safety, made an intelligent play, came in, he tried to make the stop, but Palmer, with his great speed, was able to beat him to the outside. Look for number 14 of Rutgers. Morrow, there was his opportunity. And finally, Palmer just picks and chooses, and he goes in for
the extra point, the placement, and the kick by Bill is up, and it is good.
Temple University alumni proudly talking about Temple.
Coming out of Temple, I had a definite competitive advantage. Temple grads hit the ground running.
For Temple students studying architecture, or anything really, the city is a tremendous resource.
My studies at Temple left me with a very strong understanding of the financial markets.
The theater department here at Temple is top rate. They really prepare you.
Temple University works.
William and Mary by scoring 70 points against the Indians over the last 2 years. Saturday, October 19th, an improved Indians football team will invade Veterans Stadium, looking for revenge. Plus, the Owls' fireworks spectacular in the sky will follow the explosions on the field. For tickets, 215-787-OWLS. Tickets also available at Ticketron. October 19th, Owls, Indians, and fireworks.
But this Rutgers defense is not chopped liver, I can tell you that. They have just been so game and so scrappy. Salt's play action pass. Looking downfield, arches one, he's got Garzinski, and he caught the ball at the 36-yard line. 24 yards from Lee Saltz to Andy Garzinski.
This is like a parachute behind enemy lines, the way he touches this into Garzinski. There's 4 Rutgers defenders around him, and the ball was right in Garzinski's hands on the run. Saltz couldn't have thrown it any better.
From the 36-yard line of Rutgers, Saltz back to pass again. Palmer swinging out of the backfield at the 30. Puts a move on the linebacker and gets to the 26. He's tackled there by George Piquel. That's 10 yards and very close to another first down by the Owls. And this crowd has come alive. Sports Information Director Al Schreier and the Assistant Sports Information Director Michael Kane. We thank you, gentlemen, one and all.
I think Temple realizes now that this is the last drive. They're down to one timeout. They're not going to get the football back if Rutgers gets the ball anyway. So this is do or die. This series.
It is second down and 12 at the 28-yard line of Rutgers. Temple needs a touchdown and a conversion to win it. Rutgers needs to keep them out of the end zone for their first victory of the year. Option, Palmer. And another great play by Tyler.
As a matter of fact, most times, the defender doesn't know where the sidelines is, and that's why he's got to be thinking all the times. And a play like that in this situation, the absolute cardinal sin of all cardinal sin.
I believe that was Lou Cipriano. Was it number 80? Here's Saltz, front arch, one in the end zone, and it is caught! Touchdown, Marshall! Unbelievable! Bedlam is broken loose here at the vet in Philadelphia. Screamers coming down from the stands.
This is basically an alley-oop. Harold Carmichael earned a living doing this with the Philadelphia Eagles. Saltz with the short touch, Marshall leaps over the defender, and he comes down with the ball in front of Gene Austin for the touchdown. And for Willie Marshall.
And the conversion by Wright, the all-important conversion, gives Temple a 14-13 lead. But we still have a minute 57 to play. Let's take a look at it again. Following that controversial personal foul call against Rutgers, Lee Saltz wastes no time in throwing the 13-yard touchdown pass.
You know, I'm a little surprised that they put it up down here. They have plenty of time left to go with 2 minutes to go in the game, and they still won up to Willie Marshall, and he had, 2 defenders there and a linebacker closing. I thought they'd keep it on the ground with Palmer. They're only, inside the 20-yard line.
This young man is happy, that's for sure. Willie Marshall, who beat Austin and Will Dunster, and the junior from Brown Mills, New Jersey. Just a fine individual effort.
And you're exactly right, Harry. It's not only a dubious call at that particular point because they had time and they had a timeout remaining, but I think the feeling there was to go get it, and Arians is such an incredible coach in that regard. He goes for the juggler, and he knows that Marshall's got the ability to go get the football. But
Set up the field goal. There's the combination that just hooked up for 6 points and put the Owls in the
shortcoming may have been that he pulled the trigger a little bit late. Gibson was wide open 5 seconds earlier, or even 2 seconds earlier. But Herder closes on the football and is able to make the interception.
It was a little late in developing. Now watch Herder go up on this play and just make a tremendous interception. Both players did not have the ball. It was Herder clearly who had it, and Gagliardi took some shot as he threw the football. Now he has to just watch.
And Rutgers is unable to stop the clock. We're under a minute to play in the game, and Temple can take 3 more snaps. And Rutgers is helpless to do anything about it. What a great play by Purvis Herder, but I'll tell you something, Bruce. Gagliardi put that ball right into Gibson's mitts, and it was just a matter of who would come away with the ball.
The ball was certainly out there. Both players went for it. You know, if they both come down with it, the offensive man gets the possession. But it was clearly a case where Herder won the battle.
So in most heartbreaking fashion, Dick Anderson's Rutgers Scarlet Knights are going to go 0-4 and 1 tie. That's it. Bruce Arians walking across the field to meet Dick Anderson. as the Temple Owls, fighting uphill all season long, having started 0-3, have come back with successive victories over East Carolina, Cincinnati, and Rutgers, but this one was a heart stopper. A 13-yard touchdown pass from Lee Saltz to Willie Marshall, with about 2 minutes to play in the game, following a most controversial call on a personal foul call, and now Dick Anderson is walking off the field with the officials, letting his feelings be known. And, you know, the call may have been right, but you got to have a lot of guts to make that call at that point in the football game, and under those circumstances, I would think.
Well, it was certainly a controversial call at that point in time. Temple executed a beautiful play after that. No one can question it. But what we're questioning is the opportunity that Temple had to go in there and score the winning touchdown.
I was surprised at the call in that situation. You still had 2 minutes to go in the football game. You needed to get into the end zone. You just had a penalty to put the ball inside the 15-yard line, and then you go and put it up. I thought maybe you'd stay on the ground with Paul and use up as much clock as possible. What was going on?
I just think that was a great call by Coach Arians. I think he caught them as off guard as he caught you, baby. Once again, he has a lot of confidence in our passing game, and especially a lot of confidence in Willie because he's a great receiver and he can make plays like that. So a lot of credit just goes to Willie Marshall on that.
Don't go away, Lee. Willie Marshall came up with the big catch again. Willie, you do it every concert, don't you? You had that Pittsburgh catch last year that helped set up the winning field goal, and today you came up with a touchdown. You had to leave your feet for it.
Lee put the ball in, the place where only I could have got up and got it. Coach Arians has a lot of confidence in that play. He has the confidence in my ability. He just called that play at the right time, and I knew I was going to get that ball all the way.
Now, the passing game today did not seem to be clicking, at least in the first half, and up until the end, really. I mean, you were getting most of your yardage on the ground. What was Rutgers doing defensively to deny you the football?
Well, it wasn't so much Rutgers was denying this football. We were basically doing things that were counteracting each other. You got to have a successful run game in order to have a successful, passing game. And we weren't really hitting the run game real well, so it didn't open anything up for the pass because they could basically play in blitzes, when they thought we were going to pass. So it wasn't really too much that Rutgers was doing. They have a great defense, and they were playing very well. But I do believe if we had played the run game a little better in the first half, we'd have opened up, the passing game a little more.
Lee, you were coming off your best game as a collegiate quarterback last week against Cincinnati, 307 yards. Slow start today. We were just talking to Willie about it. Was it Rutgers' defense, or was the game plan pretty much to stay on the ground?
No, I think we had planned pretty much to keep it on the ground this week and try and dominate the line of scrimmage like we've done in every game so far. And I guess it just turned a little bit, things changed, and the complexion of the game changed when we opened up the passing game a little bit. And I guess that's what we had planned to do.
All right, gentlemen, another fantastic effort by Lee Saltz and Willie Marshall to bring home everything in a victorious way, 14-13 for the Temple Owls.
And over Rutgers, we'll have more of our post-game report in just a moment.
Charles Broxson.
As a historian, I know that all history has its high point. The high point of my very own life was a football scholarship at Pennsylvania State University. That scholarship got me started. It enabled me to write some history of my own.
College football. It's doing a lot of good.
To sit down and talk about what this senior class has done for our program. Todd Bowes, Doug Davis, Jimmy Moore, who came on and played probably better than he's ever played in his life and was capable of playing this season because the situation demanded of him. Jimmy was basically a backup player, and he can learn how to start and play 60 plays a ball game for the last half of the season. The offensive line gelled into a great group of people. Paul Palmer's statistics prove what they can do. But as far as leadership and how they got to where they are, none of them were very highly recruited football players. Hard-working, dedicated young men, all going to graduate. John Ben's probably the only guy who's going to have a tough time to graduate because he's going to have to take that extra semester that he's going to lose in pro football and maybe come back and get it in the spring. But they're what you want in a football player. And all those kids, and they're going to have degrees, they compete, and they're winners.